Hello everyone, how are you today? Welcome to today's video session where we are going to focus on an easy way to learn to remember irregular verbs in past. I'm sure most of you, if you've taken a course or if you are currently taking one of our courses, have had that experience of, oh, I have to memorize irregular verbs in past or in participle. It can sometimes be a challenge, right? But in today's session, we're going to focus on grouping. We're going to group verbs based on endings or similar changes. So hopefully, by analyzing the verbs presented, you can start associating them by these groups easier, making it easier to remember. Are you ready to start? Let's begin. We're going to start with group one. In group one, these are all the verbs that have the GHT ending. Can you think of some of them? Of course, probably the ones you are thinking of are the ones we're going to check in this first group. For example, the verb bring in past, and if you're checking participles, in participles as well, bring, brought, brought. Exactly, that is the pronunciation, brought. And then you have the verb buy, which in past and participle, bought. So even if you check the endings, it's also easy to remember them because the pronunciation is very similar. How about the verb catch? In past and participle, caught. Caught. Great job. Then you have the verb fight, which in participle and past, fought. Repeat after me. Fought. And then the verb teach, taught. The verb think, very similar pronunciation, thought. So teach, taught, thought. Let's go over the pronunciation one more time. And if you want to repeat, that's a great way to practice pronunciation. I'll say in present and in past. Bring, brought, buy, bought, catch, caught, fight, fought, teach, taught, think, thought. Now, can you think of some examples using these verbs? That's a great way to remember them too. Let's go over our second group of verbs. Are you ready? Now, in this second group, we're going to check the verbs that in their base form have the in past, it changes to an, and for those of you studying participles, un. For example, begin, began, begun. And then drink, drank, drunk. Ring, rang, rung. Run, ran, run. You may notice that in its base form, it's not an in, but the past and participle follow that pattern, the and for the un. So you're going to see some of those that fit the idea, not necessarily the same, but you can use them as part of the group. And then you have sing, sang, sung. And then we're going to check a couple of verbs that you can add to this group because the idea is similar. Swing, swung, swung, and swim, swam, swum. Are you ready for group three? Let's go over it. Okay, in this next group, which is group 3, we are going to check the ones that in past, they have the ending EW, and for those of you studying participles, the W end as the ending. For example, draw, drew, drawn. Fly, flew, flown. Grow, grew, grown. Know, knew, known. Throw, threw, thrown. And then group 4 are the ones that stay the same. They don't change. That means that in its base form, simple past and participle, you are using the same verb. So let's go over them. That way we can practice the pronunciation. For example, cost, cost, cost. Cut, cut, cut. Hit, hit, hit. Hurt, hurt, hurt. Put, put, put. And this one in particular, the writing doesn't change, but the pronunciation does. In this case, in its base form, read, but in participle and past, the pronunciation is like the color red. So in this case, it would be read, read, read. Perfect. So let's go over group 5. All right, group 5 are those that in its base form have the D ending, and in past and participle, the T ending. Do you know any of these verbs? Let's go over them. Build, built, built. Lend, lent, lent. Send, sent, sent. Spend, spent, spent. And there are some that have a similar idea, which we're putting in this group. For example, burn, burnt, burnt. Dream, dreamt, dreamt. Learn, learnt, learnt. Lose, lost, lost. And then a little different, but also in this same group, hear, hearth, hearth. Okay, so let's go to group 6. In this next group, we're going to check those irregular verbs that in its base form have a double E, and in past and participle have one E and one T. For example, feel, felt, felt. Keep, kept, kept. Meet, met, met. Sleep, slept, slept. And a little different, feed, fed, fed. Okay, the next two groups, we're calling them mini groups. Group 7 and Group 8. They only have a couple that follow the same pattern. In Group 7, those are the ones that in base form and participle have an O, but in past change to an A, become, became, become. And then, of course, another similar verb, come, came, come. And then group 8, another mini group, are the ones that in its base form have a Y as an ending, and in past and participle, an ID, if. For example, pay, paid, paid. Say, said, said. Okay, in group 9, we're going to check those that in past, they have an O and an E, and in participle, an O and an EN. For example, break, broke, broken. Choose, chose, chosen. Freeze, froze, frozen. Speak, spoke, spoken. Steal, stole, stolen. Wake, woke, woken. And in this same group, we're adding one more verb that has a similar idea, the verb shine. Shine, shone, shown. Okay, and group 10 is all of those verbs that change, they don't have a family, so those are the ones we group together because they don't have a similar idea. In this case, find, found, and I hit the participle, but do you know it? Found. It's the same as in past. Get, got, and in participle, gotten, which is Gotten. Have, hath, hath. Hold, held, held. The same as in past, just making it more difficult for those of you who are in advanced courses. Leave, left, and in participle, you guessed it, the same, left. Make, made, exactly the same, made. And then we have ride, rode, and in participle, ridden, Ridden. See, saw, seen, Seen. Take, took, taken, of course. Write, wrote, written. Forget, forgot, forgotten. Sell, sold, sold. The same. Sit, sat, sat with a U. Stand, stood, stood. Perfect. Tell, told, told. Win, won, won. This last group is the group that doesn't have a family, and there are so many more. The idea here is for you as students to start grouping them with similar endings. That way it becomes easier for you to practice them, to study them, to memorize them, and of course to use them in class and outside of class. I hope you enjoyed this presentation. My name is Ruben Oropesa, Customer Service College, and I hope you found this great for your studies. I will see you in our next video and study those verbs.